First time, I'll tell you about radio first because it was different. First time I heard a song of ours on the radio was 1966.
That far back?
Mm-hmm. It was called, back then they would release songs, like we were big in the Pacific Northwest, which is where we were from. So they would release our records regionally. They would get, they would be in the top 10 in our region. Then they would release them nationally with some heat, because we're number one in Portland, number one in Seattle, number one in Yakima, it'll be number one in your town and all that stuff. So that was 1966. I was 13. We had this song called When I'm Gone, and our then manager called and said they're going to play it around 3:30 to 4:30. And I'd never heard us on the radio. And after school, I was still in school. I was a 5th grader or 6th grader. The janitor I went to a private Catholic school, would drive kids, underprivileged kids that didn't have money. He would drive us home and pick us up, because we couldn't have gone to that school. And I was in the parish car, it was a station wagon with about 8 or 9 other kids driving to drop off kids at home. And he had the radio on. And he said, we were called the New Yorkers at the time. We were named after a car, a Chrysler car. And he goes, here's a new one from the New Yorkers. And I remember he played it. And it's weird because you're removed from it. And everybody went, oh, that's Brett, that's Brett. And I was like, oh, no, God, that's me. It's like I was embarrassed. And yet I was excited at the same time. And I remember I couldn't wait to get home. My brothers were already home. I couldn't wait to get home because I wanted to share it with, the only people I could share it with were Bill and Mark and my mom, but because nobody else would have understood it. And it's surreal. It's like surreal. And then after it a couple of times, it's like, okay. But the best one was after I had already been on television and I was a Hudson brother. My brothers and I wrote this song with Bruce Johnson of the Beach Boys called Rendezvous. And we wrote it for it to come out in the summer. It was a summer song, real Beach Boy-like. And it came out, and KHJ, which was the big AM station here in Los Angeles.
94 KHJ.
There you go. I was at the beach with one of my friends, a guy named David Jolliffe, who was in room 222.
I don't know him.
You'd know David. He was in room 222, was the kid with the big red afro. David and I were actually walking up the beach in Santa Monica, and we were going to meet Billy Mooney from Lost in Space. We were going to meet Billy and another friend.
That's a real good thing you were going to meet him.
I love Billy. And we were going, and Billy and another friend of ours, and we were just going to go hang out and stuff like that. And David and I we parked the car and we're walking up the beach, and there were these girls lying on blankets, and they had the radio on. And as I was walking by, I heard him say, here's a new one from the Hudson Brothers. And the Rendezvous started. And the one girl goes, oh, I love this song. And she turns it up. And I thought to myself, she has no idea that I'm walking right by her, which is really weird because that's my song on the radio. And I want to go, hey, that's me and my brothers. But you can't, then you look like a dork. So you kind of go, well, I mean, what am I going to do? It sounds like a pickup line. It sounds like a lie. But it was really kind of cool, I must admit, to be walking on the beach and have somebody not knowing that you're there go, oh, I love this song, and turn it up. That's a real cool feeling because you know that you either connected or you they appreciate what you've done.
And they're not just saying it to your face because they're saying it to your face.
Exactly, because she didn't even know that I was there, and I just kept walking. Now that I think back, I should have gotten her number, but so it was a real thrill to hear it, but it is real surreal. I can't describe it. It's like the most bizarre thing the first time you hear it. Then after a while, you expect it. That's when it gets dangerous. The first television show I ever did was 1967. It was called Palace Showcase, I think. Hollywood Palace Showcase.
For my time.
It was on, before mine too, Bonnie. It was on Vine Street, the theater. That's all I remember. And I was weird too, because back then, there were, the cameras were like the size of this house, some huge cameras, and it was television was still finding its way, believe it or not. It was, it was only television actually started in the 40s, but it really was in the early 50s, so it was only 15 years ago that television, from then, you go back 15 years from 67, and you're looking at, 52? 53, something like that. So television was still green. I mean, it was only 15 years old. And it was,
nice.
It was black and white, which is really cool too. I have a copy of it.
Oh, is it on some ancient...
I have it on VHS. As a Christmas gift one year for my brothers. We never know what to get each other, so we just said, look, you know what? Let's just stop buying Christmas gifts and just say, and celebrate the spirit of it rather, because it was ridiculous. We had everything. But one year, I found it's a weird tape. It's like 3/4 inch, but it's reel to reel, so it's almost impossible. A friend of mine found one of these machines to dub it over. So as a Christmas gift, I had it dubbed over for Bill and Mark, because it's hysterical. I mean, there are 3 shows on there. The first show, I'm 12, and I look like I'm 12. And my brother Mark was 13. He hadn't grown into his nose yet. His nose grew first, and then his head grew into his nose. My brother Bill, was pretty anal back then as far as how we looked and how we practiced, and we would practice like non-stop. And it was a black and white show. I don't remember the name of it, but I got a piece of tape. I'll pull the tape out. You can put it on.
Could I? Oh, that would be great.
Oh, you'll have a good laugh.
Oh God, or anything that you can find that I would kill to see those movies of the week. I wonder if those.
I always hear bubbling rumors that they're going to release Razzle Dazzle on DVD and our summer shows on DVD, and I always hear those things. And I think the fact that I pray, light candles, and drink Lourdes water, they won't come out. I think they're better left unseen, especially by me.
I'm really losing the light, so.
That's all right, Barney. We can come back and we do it again.
Yeah, let's come back and do it again.
Okay, bye everybody.